my show had value, and that, I'm sorry.
Hey guys, welcome back to another one. You know, my youngest son was born on Father's Day of 2003. That's always been my favorite Sunday. That'll always be a Sunday I remember. Now, I have a second Sunday I'll always remember. Waking up yesterday and going on X and seeing the news that Joy Reid's show was canceled. Shouldn't wish bad upon anybody. I don't wish bad upon her. But knowing that she has not as many screens to try and infect people's minds now with her terrible, terrible rhetoric that she's been spreading for years now is relieving. Yesterday was a good day. What can we say? I mean, you know, in Trump, that famous clip of saying, you're going to get so sick of winning. I'm starting to believe him. There's just so much. It's win after win after win. I honestly couldn't have imagined this. I knew the day was eventually coming, but I just didn't think it was going to be that soon. But Americans, Canadians, people worldwide, for their mentality, they're much better off, and the world is now a safer place. So before we do get started in our regular scheduled programming, we are definitely going to be checking out that clip that just came out a few hours ago of Joy Reid breaking down. Let's check it out, and we'll get back into it after.
And value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Now, right off the bat, I don't think that Joy Reid is capable of feeling guilt. She's talking about how she felt guilt for going hard in so many issues. And then she names off a bunch of issues that I don't even recall her really ever talking about. Then again, it's not like I used to watch her show at all. I would just catch clips of her when she was like bashing the right and bashing Donald Trump and whatnot. But does she not feel even an ounce of guilt for all the poison that she spread across the airwaves for years? Notice how she tries to keep her words all nice and professional sounding, about how she addressed things that were subversive to the Constitution by the president. And no, that's not at all what she's done. She's been bashing him. She's been bashing him before he was president. She's still been bashing him since he's been president. And, you think that she would catch on, because since the election, instantly her ratings dropped. All of MSNBC did, but her show, her ratings started to tank. From what I seen yesterday, her ratings have dropped 60%. She's lost 60% of her audience. And what does she do? She doubles down and keeps saying the same thing over and over and over. And I won't even get started on the God thing with her. She claims that she's a church girl and whatnot. I believe that she's referred to in church. I'll leave it at that. The bottom line is Joy Reid was not a very pleasant person. There's really much stronger words I want to use here. But I'm going to, of course, watch my tongue. I believe that she did have obvious racism attached to her. Not only just towards white people, though. It's like she was racist towards anybody that really was not a Democrat or far left leaning. And I've seen a lot of, we've all seen a lot of nasty stuff with her. Yesterday was karma. I mean, she was only able to run her mouth rampant like that for so long. The Biden administration obviously encouraged it. She started to feel like as if she was invincible. And even though Donald Trump is in office, she still kept doing it and going on and on and on. Maybe she was watching her words a little bit, but she was still pushing the same hateful messages. So she dug her own hole. It's kind of hard to feel sorry for her. Quite personally, I don't want to feel sorry for her. I've never been a big Joy Reid fan. It's the same thing like with Rachel Maddow. But Joy Reid, for me, she was kind of up there. There was so much hatred that came out of her in the past few years. It's hard to stress it. And again, that's probably something that'll be best left for another platform to talk about. But could you guys just imagine the future TikTok videos that are going to be coming out from her account? I was looking today. I was actually surprised it was nothing. I guess she's probably not going to film anything like that until she does her final show. I think she's got one more show left this week, I guess, to say her goodbyes or whatnot to her viewers. But we're going to be seeing some meltdowns. And then, of course, I guarantee you she's going to, pull a Don Lemon and try and go independent. And she does have quite the following, but didn't work out too well for Don Lemon either. And I don't really see it working out well for her. We are going to be getting into another mashup tonight, guys. We're going to be going with the men and the women. Without further ado, let's get right into it. I don't want to hold you guys up. Let's get into it.
So you're saying freedom, but it sounds like privilege is what you're afraid to lose.
DOGE, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, isn't about reducing the size of government. They're eliminating all the checks and balances. DOGE stands for Dangerous Oligarchs Are Grabbing Everything. Wake up.
A long time ago, my husband was like, hey, watch this show with me. So I sat on the couch and I was like, sure, I'll watch it. And it had Donald Trump on it. And he was firing people and trying to find some leaders in business and all these things. And we watched it. I didn't know that he would end up making our entire reality a fucking reality TV show. Right?
I don't know who needs to hear it today, but if you sympathize with Nazis and you hang out with fucking Nazis, you're a fucking Nazi.
So we went from he's going to fix the economy and he's going to bring down the price of groceries and the cost of living, and he's going to get rid of taxes on overtime income and tip income, to he's going to run up the deficit, he's going to buy $500 million in Cybertrucks, he's going to get rid of Medicaid, or Medicare was it, I don't want to misspeak, he's going to try to privatize or destroy Social Security, he's going to give more tax breaks to billionaires, and he's raising taxes on the low and middle income earners in this country. And at no point will any Trump supporter ever admit that they were stupid because they are stupid. They will somehow continue to move the goalpost. You voted for a moron because you're a moron. And rather than admit that you got played, you're going to keep on with this sunk cost fallacy because you're in a cult. Well, I guess if there's any solace, it's that while the rest of our lives are being ruined, your lives are also going to be ruined, because you are way closer to being homeless than you are to being a millionaire.
So right from the top, this guy doesn't have his facts pretty straight. Yes, of course, he wants to name off all the promises and everything that Trump had made, no tax on tips and whatnot. Obviously, this stuff will be implemented in the future. There's only so much stuff that Trump can get done so quickly, and there was much more important things to address. His no tax on tips will be there. He's not going to roll back on that. He even held like a little mini rally about it a few weeks ago. What I love is how he states how he spent $500 million on Cybertrucks. Actually was I believe, 400 million, not 500 million. And that was also Joe Biden, not Donald Trump. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Medicare and Medicaid are the same thing, just with two different names. I'm not actually sure why that's a thing. Trump stated he will only get rid of, well, what was known as Obamacare if and when they come up with a better one. Until then, it's going to stay in place. You hear this time and time again, how Trump is going to be taking away Social Security. He's not going to be touching anybody's Social Security. What he's going through right now, what Elon's going through, is finding fraud in Social Security. Apparently, there's a U.S. citizen that's 360 years old. How does that make sense? What's the numbers that they pulled up? I think they have 30 million people, 30 million Social Security numbers, 25 million Social Security numbers that are aged 100 years and older. Yeah, that makes tons of sense. 60 million Social Security numbers more than citizens that there are in the United States. There's obvious fraud going on there. He's not going to be cutting Social Security. They're just looking into it right now. He is correct there that no MAGA supporters will be admitting that they're stupid because they weren't stupid. They made the correct choice. I don't want to call liberals stupid in any way. Yet voting for Kamala Harris was not the correct choice. She did not run a flawless campaign, as so many people are blind to see. Her policies, yet some of them may have sounded okay, but there was never an explanation as to how any of them were going to get done. So in closing with this guy, what we have here again is yet another liberal that cannot actually see that his life is going to improve under Donald Trump's policies. He thinks that his life was better under Joe Biden's policies. Again, when it comes to that type of policy, the same thing like out here with Justin Trudeau. These type of governments, that type of economy only benefits you if you're already wealthy. And the people that are middle class, lower class, no, we're the ones that end up hurting. The past 4 years, people have been struggling. They didn't really give a hell then about anybody else but themselves, or even if this guy's not financially well off. How can you not tell that your life was not economically better under Trump the 4 years before that, and that your money went downhill as soon as you had Biden around? Either way, let them think what they want to think. Trump can completely fix the economy. This guy can all of a sudden double his salary, and he's going to blame Trump for something else, like a usual.
I got a message for Elon and your Musk. If we ever get back in power, we coming after you, bro. If we ever get back in power, yeah, that's your ass, boy.
I woke up in a pretty good mood today. Can't wait to see how the government fucks that up.
Oh, you guys, this is a big hell no for me. MSNBC just fired Joy Reid and Alex Wagner. Can't see it coming yet? The far left network firing its diversity? Gee, I wonder.
So, do any of you Trumper thumpers regret your vote yet? And if so, are you gonna have the balls to admit it? You got had. You got conned. We tried to warn you.
I have a question for the United States military, and I've asked my uncle, who has been in the military for a very long time, and he thinks that all this stuff that Trump posts is like a joke. Like, oh, he probably thinks that, but there's no way we'll ever have a king in America, blah, blah, blah. My question is, at what point does the military start protecting us against domestic terrorism? Because from where most of us are sitting, there are terrorists in the White House. And at what point is the military like, we're not doing that? That's a serious question.
Well, I mean, this is pretty easy to answer. From what I can tell, I believe the military and ICE are already protecting the citizens from domestic terrorism. They're deporting them. I mean, yes, of course, some what would appear to be as innocent families are getting deported as well, and that is because they did come there illegally. But more importantly, the criminals that came from other countries are getting deported. So your military and ICE are doing the job that they're supposed to be doing right now. What the question will be is, what was the military doing for the past 4 years? They had an oath to defend their border, and it was left wide open. Now, again, going from the Declaration of Independence, when a government becomes tyrannical, I believe you can, step in and replace them, whatnot. You guys would have to fill me in exactly the proper wording on that. But if you guys go back a few years, not just last year, but a few years, when everybody, you know, was wearing Swiss cheese on their face, things were looking pretty shady then. And it looked like, you know, the Declaration of Independence may have been called upon then, and nobody budged. So that is the problem, is apparently the Constitution is so almighty and powerful. A lot of people swear by it. A lot of people stand by it. People want to talk about their First Amendment rights or Second Amendment rights. Your First Amendment rights were stripped away for 4 years. Not so much as of late before Trump came along, but we're talking 2021, 2022. You really had to watch what you were saying. And on certain platforms, you still have to watch what you're saying. So Trump has got to do something to really re-strengthen that Constitution, because the open borders thing can never happen again. And if another president does ever came in, look, Tom Homan said it himself. He's worked under 6 different presidents, and Joe Biden is the only one that intentionally unsecured the border. This guy's got the most experience. Doesn't matter what any libtard out there wants to say. This guy's worked under 6 presidents, yes, meaning he's worked under Democrat presidents in the past as well. Funny how Biden let him go, because he knew that Tom Homan was not going to play with that agenda. Biden intentionally let illegals in the country, illegal criminals in the country, not just people, I'm not calling them criminals because they came there illegally, people that had criminal records, really heinous crimes in other countries, they were vetted and they were released into the country, into the public, into the wild. And no authority did anything. So what's the point of the Constitution if nobody's going to actually follow it? Trump really needs to reinforce that. That with the border, that can never happen again.
Joy Reid is being canceled from MSNBC. I wonder if MSNBC is canceling the newly minted NAACP award that she just won. Actually, 2 of them. I'm sure it's on their website, you know, because they're all about equality. This is bullshit.
Having the New York Times app and having notifications turned on for breaking news is crazy, because I'm packing right now, watching Smosh on my TV. Breaking news: Trump threatens to blow up the entire planet if not given a little treat. Breaking news: Elon Musk says a slur and then cries under his desk for an hour. Breaking news: in an act of charity, Donald Trump has given Sauron the One Ring.
Hi everyone. Daily reminder that if you're scared of innocent people you've never met before because of their birth certificate, you're kind of a bitch.
The greater part of the population is not very intelligent, dreads responsibility, and desires nothing better than to be told what to do. Provided the rulers do not interfere with its material comforts or its cherished beliefs, it is perfectly happy to let itself be ruled.
You know why MAGA and the far left are so miserable? It's because she's not. They thought they were going to make an example and a spectacle of Vice President Kamala Harris. They were going to punish her when they've only punished themselves. One thing that I see about Kamala Harris is I don't see a woman that's broken. I don't see a black woman in misery. I see a black woman with hope and fearlessness in her eyes.
Really?
And because of the work she's done for our country, and particularly for the black community, she's deserving of this prestigious award. She's deserving of being honored at the NAACP.
What has she done for the black community?
Since we're talking about deserving, you know who's not deserving of a Harris presidency? The American people, because you allowed your misogyny and your bigotry and your anti-blackness to be the downfall of this goddamn country. This country is not deserving of the continuous labor that black people continue to do for free.
What labor are black people doing for free? I'm pretty sure they get paid if it's a job, right? That's not for free.
This country is not worthy when you focus on our differences versus our commonalities. This country is not worthy when they would rather vote for a liar, a sexual assaulter, a convicted felon over a black woman. Our forever vice president, Kamala Harris, is not broken. So you didn't win.
She was broken from the get-go. And yeah, we won.
Black joy is real. Black joy is benevolent. And we find a silver lining in every situation. So while y'all saw things are sad and at home and miserable because you cut your nose to spite your face, just know that you'll never, put a frown on this black woman's face?
Well, first of all, it's looking pretty much well like, she's Indian, just from Jamaica. Actually, from what I've heard from other people that have researched it, is she's Indian and actually Irish, but again, that's something for another channel. This guy was actually pretty calm. I've played him on the channel before. He's usually really revved up and full of anger. This is probably one of the calmest clips I've ever seen from him. The reason I'm going with it, though, is just, again, the pandering to Kamala Harris. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. I really don't see what they've seen in this woman. And I don't think they do either. I think it's just because that's all they had. Again, they always want to talk about democracy, 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 but nobody voted for her. Nobody chose her as the candidate. She was literally just installed. And of course, then Chuck Schumer tried to claim, oh, this was a grassroots campaign. Who has ever been the presidential candidate without one single vote? That's not a democracy. And the worst part about it is, like, let's just pretend, like, if Kamala Harris did win and she beat Trump, think about the past 30 days, what it would have really been like. There would have been maybe just a couple of executive orders, but it would have been executive orders that wouldn't have worked in anybody's favor. She would have, definitely went after the rich people and taxed them a heck of a lot higher. Yes, rich people can afford to pay a little bit more in taxes, obviously, than they do, but that's not the main problem here. That is kind of like, would have been to deflect, to keep your eyes off of what we now know as USAID. They've all been fully aware of this organization and all the fraudulence that's been going on there. And again, there were some good things that USAID is doing. They'll have that reinstated. But taxing the rich wasn't going to be the answer, at least not for us. It would have been the answer for them so they can keep running their little laundering scheme without anybody catching on. And, you can have God knows how many citizens that are over 100 years old collecting Social Security checks. And I really cannot see a happy future with Kamala Harris being the president. What would she have done about, like, Ukraine and Russia? She would have sent funding after funding after funding there. I mean, it would have been a hard time if we still won the House and the Senate. And then at least we could have put up a fight. But chances are, if she did win the presidency, they would have won either the House or the Senate. They would have got one of the two out of that deal. And wow, it would have been worse than the last 4 years. I seen a clip today where somebody's talking about, hey, a stimulus check, guys, that's communism. Do you guys remember Kamala's economic plan that she proposed? And it literally, it's like she proposed like socialism. I think it would have only been a matter of time before she actually tried to like instate UBI. Because she has always had that saying of like, we don't all start at the same place. We all need to finish at the same place. Meaning she's trying to get everybody to get like equal pay. Now, to somebody who doesn't make as much money, that sounds great. To somebody who makes more money, that just comes out of your pocket. So think about it. If you're doing a job where, say, you're paid $250,000 a year, but I don't know, whatever this flat rate income is that she wants to talk about, say it's $100 grand a year. That means $150,000 of your income gets chopped off because it's got to be divvied out to everybody else. So everybody else has got like equal pay. Yet your cost of living would just get more expensive for you. A lot of it just didn't make sense. She had no clue what she was doing. She just wanted power. The people on top of her wanted power. There's a certain president that just finished pretty much a 16-year term that was trying to go for 20. And let's be happy that era is over.
How long do you think it'll be until white people realize that if racism is not a deal breaker for them, that means they themselves are racist? Because, like, I'm sick of this shit, honestly.
Looking forward to the day when his grave becomes a public urinal.
Just a little friendly reminder for the day that an executive order doesn't override the Constitution. So, your egos are shit.
No one's coming to save us. It is completely up to us to save ourselves, so prepare accordingly. But you know what? That's okay, because we're all that we need. Because when the people come together, there's no more powerful force. And the American people, they're not going to stand for a fucking dictator. And we have an obligation as citizens of this nation to resist a king.
I cannot be the only one who couldn't watch Kamala's concession speech for like, I think probably weeks. And I was just scrolling through, like, is anyone else completely incapable of listening to her speak right now without like totally losing their shit? Because I was on my For You page, and BET, which I'm not sure why I wasn't already following them, had a video posted from her talking about the NAACP. Man, we would be in such a different place right now. Not necessarily less unrest from the sides, because I know MAGA would be very angry and fighting and, you know, their typical miserable selves, but they won and they're still miserable and they're still angry and they're still fighting, and now we're all losing everything. Mostly just curious if anyone else cannot, like, I can't listen without crying. I'm not capable. Okay, who is going to put together a book of all of her speeches just so we can have the words, like a book of poetry, but like a book of Kamala's speeches? We need to do that. I'm still trying to get through it, obviously.
Well, she asked me in the beginning, is anybody else capable or incapable of listening to her speak right now without totally losing their shit? Yeah, I'm not really very capable of listening to Kamala Harris speak. It's a bit of a struggle. She's kind of painful to listen to. You know what, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, if you really think about it, president, vice president, both of them can't really talk. Biden, we've seen him kind of fall apart as the 4 years went on, and we've seen his speech get worse and worse and worse. Kamala Harris didn't really have to be in the spotlight too often, but when she was in the spotlight without a teleprompter, oh boy, she's bad. She's really bad. But these guys, they're like touched. They get emotional. She was literally emotional about watching Kamala Harris's concession speech. Like, okay, she put together some nice words, but she was just talking a lot about fight, 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 don't give up, and the usual word salads, but from a more presidential sounding point of view. I mean, she was literally, her eyes were watering. She literally was teary-eyed talking about her concession speech. But the reason why I chose this clip is because I think her idea at the end is a fantastic idea. Somebody should put together a whole book of Kamala Harris's speeches. That would be great comedy. Like literally a supercut of all of her speeches would be incredible. It'd be extremely repetitive, talking about, what was it from? I'm from a middle-class family. That's what she'd fall back to every time. That would be a really good idea. I think it would be, you know, really good comedy for us here on the right. Listening to Kamala Harris can be quite painful, but when we keep in mind that they actually think that this is powerful words coming from a powerful black woman, it's pretty comedic. Because nobody questions her ethnicity, at least nobody on that side. They take her words to heart, and they really, truly, honestly believe her. Now you can see Kamala Harris, what she starts to do, she starts off a little shaky and she's not really confident in her words. And then when she starts to make eye contact with the person she's talking to, that's when she starts doing this double-handed thing. And she's starting to like try and push out her energy and emotion that way, and she's pitching. But the thing is, she's pitching lines that she's got memorized. And then those lines run out. And then by the end of that, you're looking at her like, what the hell did you just say? Like, none of it makes any sense. That is one thing I will miss about Kamala, is the word salads. She was probably the queen of word salads. Again, when I just said, let's imagine that she became president, could you just picture like presidential speeches from her? Of course, it would all be done off of a teleprompter, but it's going to have that Kamala word salad touch to it for sure. All right, guys. I got one more for you guys. to update you guys on the whole Rumble thing. I was looking into it more today. I think I probably am going to do it. I'm just not sure if I'm going to do like what my idea was yesterday, like an extended version of this video and then just chop it down for YouTube. I think when I hunt clips, because it happened to me again today, I was hunting down clips and I find some clips that are a little bit too, like, you know, I could play the clip. It doesn't matter how much swearing is on the clip or whatnot. But sometimes they are talking about some pretty, you know, dark and more aggressive stuff. I want to be able to elaborate on exactly what they're talking about. And again, on this platform here, I can't really elaborate on certain things. I got to kind of like watch my tongue a little bit. Obviously, we can still have a lot of fun and still get some good discussions out over here. So YouTube's always going to be my home base. But I'm thinking about making kind of like an uncensored version. So it wouldn't be like, hey, go to Rumble and watch this same video, but it's just going to be longer. No, it'll be different clips. So it'll be like kind of like putting out 2 videos at the same time, but one will be here, one will be over there. So I'm going to see how I can work that in my schedule. Because I mean, besides this, I do work a full-time job. I have a family life, just a child in the house, a wife, a dog that needs to be walked, and I have a Shiba. He needs a lot of walking. He needs a lot of outdoor time. So I'm really going to try, though, and see if I can work that in. I don't want to deprive this channel over here and make less videos because I'm making videos for there, too. So I'm going to try and schedule it to see if I could just literally shoot 2 videos back to back and then chop it up, send one over to Rumble, and send one here. So when it is done, I'm hoping by the weekend. I'm hoping by the weekend that I'll have something up over there. When it is done, I'll let you guys know. I'll leave the link in the description for it. Again, I'm going to drop the links for DrunkPinata's channel. I've been checking him out on Rumble. I'm not sure if it's better for him if you guys check him out on Rumble or pilled.net, but I've been checking him out on Rumble. Again, if you guys haven't yet, check out his show. It's a really cool show. So as usual, like, comment, subscribe if you guys are new, and I shall see you guys shortly in the next one.
Before I have a mental breakdown and go crazy, I want to say have a happy President's Day, Barack Hussein Obama, Bill Clinton, and Joe Biden. I hope you're having an amazing day. Now to address this fuck-ass, fat, hungry-ass bitch that's going after our federal fucking funding, Donald Trump. Let me tell you something, bitch. For you to constantly go after DEI knowing damn well you're DEI your motherfucking self because you never made it off of motherfucking merit. You only got there off of your motherfucking money. Money that was inherited by your motherfucking parents. You ain't shit, bitch. And then on top of that, you want to put Americans at harm's risk by allowing Elon Musk to have access to the Treasury Department payment system, which also has access to our Social Security. On top of that, having access to our bank information. Then on top of that, then you want to put over HHS. Fucking crazy ass cuckoo for motherfucking chew, goddamn RFK, who said that black people are apparently super motherfucking nigga. Meaning we don't have to get immunization shots when white people do because apparently we're motherfucking inhuman. We super goddamn nigga. Fuck you, you motherfucker. On top of that, eggs are sky high, meaning people gotta sell pussy in order to get motherfucking pastries. While that's motherfucking sky high, guess what's falling from the motherfucking sky? Planes, bitch, planes! We're all going to fucking die because of who you fucking voted for. Fuck all of y'all.